Hi everyone, this is Robert from MeisMorphs. I'm going to be starting to do a series of videos, shorts, explaining some things or various topics that I kind of feel like I need to get off my chest, so to speak. I think right now, for the biggest part, the only thing I have at the moment that seems like to be the most pressing, and it's the one thing I get a lot when I post my shorts and people respond to them, and it's by far the biggest elephant in the room. A lot of people comment on the feedings for the ball pythons and the boas, and I don't know what it is about the mentality of the people that make the comments. I'm not going to suspect, I'm not going to judge or anything, but when it comes to feeding snakes, whether they are captive bred or wild caught or anything like that, you have to feed them what is in their best diet, which would be, for a vast majority, rodents, or in some cases tiny little reptiles and stuff like that. But for the vast majority, it is rodents of some degree: mice, rats, rabbits, or in some cases guinea pigs, natal pigs, like oink oink squeal squeal, or in some cases other snakes. But that's only if you have those kinds of snakes. But here's the thing. I have a mixture of snakes that are in the transition of being live feedings and frozen thawed. Now, almost every snake that I have can eat live and is precocial, meaning that they have been born with all the instincts in order to survive. The biggest precocial instinct is to go out and find food, eat. Now, for the vast majority of them, the ball python specifically, they eat live. They eat live rodents. They are ambush predators. They like to hide in little burrows and stuff like that and wait for something to come down. That's in the wild. And with the rack systems, we kind of simulate that kind of experience. And as it is, ball pythons prefer to eat live out of that instinct, and it works. 90% of the time, it works. You can get them, at least the captive bred ones, to transition to, pre-killed, which is basically a stunned or killed rat that is, mouse or rat that is fresh, still got a lot of body heat to it, and it will at least get the prey drive growing. The other method for the captive bred ball pythons is frozen thawed. You've actually seen that a couple of times done with some of my ball python males, uh, some of the juveniles, and some of the babies. Now, that is the most effective. It's the cheapest form of food that you can get in bulk, and it often pretty much doesn't result in any harm to the snake, such as like biting, clawing, and then stuff like that the mouse or rat can do to a snake if you're not paying attention or you leave it unattended. But the only negative side of feeding frozen thawed is that you kind of have to get the snake to a period where it's going to be absolutely hungry, not close to starving, but absolutely hungry to the point where it will just take it. Now, I don't like pushing my snakes to that level where it's a desperate move to feed, but I am glad that at least some of them will take frozen thawed, because that alleviates a little bit of stress on me as far as like having to wait in a room, waiting to hear the old thump and squeal of a live rat or mouse getting taken, and then checking to make sure that there is no biting or clawing on the snake while it's doing its job trying to eat its food. Now, here's the other thing. I get that a lot of people, in the pet community at least, have people that like mice and rats and rabbits and all that stuff. Yes, I get it. They're cuddly and all that stuff. But the thing is, I know they're pets, but I distinguish a pet between a wild animal or something you raise on your own, like breeding rabbits, make stuff like that. But the rodents I get, I can't get them from wild sources because of the fleas, lice, bacterium that they get from being out in the wild. All the rodents I get have to be raised in laboratory settings, fed laboratory grade food, and you have to be at least somewhat free of parasites and everything, because you don't want your own pets having to consume these things and then get sick because of a parasite. And other than that, I mean, most of the pet shops I go to have all these rats and mice available. They raise and breed their own, not just to sell as pets, but as for feeders for those with the exotic animals that have to eat live animals or frozen animals. Now, I can get my frozen rats and rabbits two different ways. I can go to the pet shop and pay their prices for what they have in stock because they usually have a supplier of their own, or I can go online and order a whole bunch in bulk from Rodent Pro. Now, if you're in the business or in the hobby of reptiles, you've heard of Rodent Pro. They're a very legit business. You can get a whole bunch of stuff in bulk for relatively decent prices, as long as you buy over $100 worth of stuff, because then you have the free shipping. If you don't buy over $100, you are paying a whole bunch in shipping. So always buy in bulk, cut the costs. But like I said, the elephant in the room is I don't understand why some people get upset about the feedings. Some people have defended the feedings, like, hey, it's a part of nature. It would be cruelty to let them starve or anything like that. It's like, oh, poor bunny, oh, poor mouse, or poor rabbit. It's like, look, sorry. I post these warnings on the feeding shorts, letting you all know what's about to go on, and viewers' discretion. So for those of you that do view and don't leave negative comments, thank you for understanding that I'm taking care of my animals and that I'm doing what's best for them. For those that don't get it, study some biology or science, nature science and stuff like that, and rehash what probably isn't being taught or learned anymore, that the animals in the wild kingdom, regardless of whether or not they are wild or captive bred pets, they are still animals. They still need to eat. And if they're predators of any sorts, they need to eat meat. They need to eat rats, mice, rabbits, whatever. And one of my biggest beefs about the feeding video comments in that regard is that some of the people anthropomorphize too much of our human qualities, virtues, and behaviors onto animals that don't have those thoughts or belief structures. In the wild, an animal's going to eat. It doesn't matter if the animal is cute, young, cuddly, or looks like your favorite animal in the world. Nature doesn't care about that. Nature cares about pretty much only one thing: how it's going to survive. And it's no different here. Now, I understand everybody has their thoughts, but try to keep the negativity to a level. I mean, I've been called just about every possible bad name I can think of ever since I started posting feeding videos and stuff like that. And I can brush it off. I really can. But it just kind of shows the level of absurdity of what people think as to what they don't know about animal keeping and keeping exotic animals. And I'm quite sure all the other big wigs on YouTube platforms or Morph Market, you know, some of the people, they've got bigger channels than me by far, and they probably get the same hate. They more than likely they've been getting the same hate for more years than I've been active. But it's just kind of, I mean, I don't want to be like totally taking out my comments and stuff like that, and just like limiting everybody's free speech on it and everything, because I'm a vet. I've fought for my rights and your rights, but there comes a point where I kind of want to choose on that one. But if I do, I'm gonna freaking kick myself in the butt for it, and if I don't, well, I'll just have to ride the wave, so to speak. But look, I get it. The world is changing and all that stuff, but not everybody's going to subscribe to the same views. I'm going to end up keep making shorts, doing feeding videos and stuff like that. And I'll just take it. I'll take the hit. But try to keep the comments at least somewhat respectful. If you understand, you understand. If you don't, try not to be too much of an asshole about it. I mean, I don't tell you how to do your thing. Please don't tell me how to do my thing.